And welcome on board, everyone. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 660, and this is our Kansas game recap. West Virginia falling to the Jayhawks by a final score of 41-10 in Lawrence, Kansas. As they say, not the result that you were looking for. The dean's in. He's got obvious observations. The senator is here. He's been going through the numbers, so we'll just get into business. Three Guys brought to us by GoMart. Get yourself a GoMart rewards card. Download their app, and you just instantly save on food, fuel, and snacks. Snacks is becoming more and more of a popular word. We'll talk about that. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales, award-winning Lou Wendell Marine Sales. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit, the way that Three Guys starts its day. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. Simply don't. Won't. Don't. Jan Dills, attorneys at law. Spreads on Stats will be brought to us by Conley's CPA Group. They provide value way beyond numbers.
Do I have a sponsor yet? I still don't have a sponsor, right?
A lot of people offer sponsorship for your segment, and I just nah. Obviously we don't want one.
Obviously.
Yeah, we're fine. Thank you. We're fine. All right, boys, let's jump in. It's Sunday morning. The Mountaineers lost convincingly to the Kansas Jayhawks by a score of 41-10. In our preview show back on Thursday, we talked about situations and how oftentimes the gambling community looks at situational setups. And they said, this is not a good situation for West Virginia. That's why it was a 2-touchdown line favoring Kansas. And a lot of us were going like, 2 touchdowns? Wait, two? Well, guess what? Boys in Vegas, as most of the time are correct. And you know what? That was a bad situation. Kansas was incredibly well rested, and they had the fuel from their loss to their arch rival Missouri. And they went out there. It didn't necessarily. The first quarter was kind of like, it was yucko.
Yeah,
right? It was yucko. Then they got on and made some big plays, obviously, and off they went. On the other side for West Virginia, you're coming off the fumes of being told how good you are against Pitt. How much that impacts you, I don't know. Week number 2. But then you go into that game with the guy that we were talking about all week saying, hey, found the running back. You get Ty Edwards lathered up now, and that's going to make a huge difference on this offense. It'll get things going. And Ty Edwards, a no-go because of a hip. And that didn't help. And then you throw in Landon Livingston, your center, out. Fred Perry, out. Not related to injury. And you got yourself a problem. Houston, we got a problem.
So you want me to go?
Obviously.
So, Tony, you said it. It's one thing to talk, Brad, about situationally not a good situation for West Virginia. It's another thing to see it and then to witness it. And so you talk sort of academically like this is a bad situational play for West Virginia. Then you witness it. I got to tell you, and Tony, as always, I turn down the sound on TV and I listen to you. And by the midpoint of the third quarter, really after that kickoff return, I thought, how much longer do I have to listen to this or watch this? I mean, it's like being, all due respect to dentists, it's like being in the dentist chair where the first hour, you're like, okay, I'm all right. But then you're like, when does this end? When can I get out of this? When is this over? And when the third quarter ended, I thought, Brad, there's another quarter of this? It was really painful. And Brad, you and I were talking in our meeting beforehand, and you brought.
You guys had a meeting?
Yeah, it was at 8:30.
Yeah, extensive.
Yeah, expensive. And Brad, you brought up Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is most logical. And I think that, not to steal your thunder, but it was a great point that you just don't have enough guys. You just aren't good enough to compete. I don't think you expect to be blown out like that, but you just aren't good enough at multiple levels. So, as you said, and I'll maybe defer to you on this point, is you can coach all you want. You can draw up all the plays you want, but if you don't have the players, can't make plays.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Tony, you said it there. The no Ty Edwards obviously changed that game right from the beginning, and we'll go through this in some of my number perspective. But if we know this, if Rich's offense can't run effectively, it's going to be a long night, and there's a lot of factors that come after that. But Edwards being out certainly hurt. Then you lose Livingston, and this offensive line just continues to struggle, guys. So it was obvious pretty early on that this offense was going to struggle last night, and I have some numbers to go along with that, and it just did. It just could never get anything going.
It could never get anything going, and defensively they hung in there for a while, but Tony, that eye candy, as you called it in the pregame interview, that they do. That does confuse defense. I mean, that has an effect. And a couple times when those Kansas receivers were wide open, it's just like West Virginia, we're like, what do you do now? Yeah. Because they do a really good job of confusing defenses. And you come typically on a game, if you lose, you come away going, okay, there's a couple things you can build on. I don't think you came away from that game with any like, well, here's a bright spot here, here's a bright spot there. I didn't see any bright spots in this game in any of the three phases of that game, except maybe Oliver Straw. Hopefully his leg is still attached. He had to punt so many times. But what I did do was, when that fourth quarter started, I started researching motivational quotes, maybe something you could build on. And one of the greatest coaches of any sport was John Wooden. And here's what, of course, he didn't lose very much, but here's what John Wooden said. Losing is only temporary and not all-encompassing. You must simply study it, learn from it, and try not to lose the same way again. Then you must have the self-control to forget about it, Brad. Self-control to forget about it. So can you put a really dismal performance behind you and try to get ready for another tough opponent in a week?
Well, your hope is you just did this once, right? You had a dismal offensive performance against Ohio U. You turned right around and came back with your biggest win against Pitt. So you're going to have to do that again. I think the challenge becomes, as we've said about this league, you just continue to roll good team in after good team. And that's not a disrespect to Pitt, but Utah's a really good team. A lot of people had them picked to win the league prior to their game against Texas Tech yesterday, who, by the way, Texas Tech's $40 million payroll. I think they did a nice job with that early on. A lot of football left. Texas Tech looks like the real deal. To walk into that building in Utah and walk out with a win. But Utah comes in here, and we'll talk more about them this week. So you're hoping they come out maybe a little flat and deflated from having their first loss. Maybe you can catch them on a long road trip in what may be a situational good spot for West Virginia. But that's the problem with that, Hop, is these teams just continue to roll in, and they're very good teams.
Yeah. And you just and maybe the Pitt game was indicative, Tony, of what you can do, or maybe it was a one-off, and against a pretty good Kansas team, you realize, Tony, that offensively you just are extremely limited offensively.
Yeah, right now. So that is going to be the biggest challenge for Rich Rodriguez and his coaching staff. They go back and they go, okay, guys. I mean, they're going to do just exactly what we do. They're going to go like, okay, what can we do?
What can we do?
What can we do here? What are our options? What haven't we tried, or what can we do? That's going to become the biggest question now, because we know what Rich's offense looks like when it goes. And right now it's operating just incredibly in molasses. It's just stuck.
Yeah, and I thought Rich said this appropriately last night. The injuries are mounting. They didn't lose last night's game because of injuries, but it is a factor now as we start to preview games moving forward significantly. No White, no Bray. What's Livingston's status? What is Ty Edwards' status, maybe most importantly on that group? That's a lot of hits to an offense that already wasn't very deep to here be, after 4 games, be dealing with that on top of just trying to figure out what you're doing.
So there's some, again, some of the stats coming out of this game, and you'll go much more deep than I do. These are just the front of these stats, but some of those stats make you scratch your head in a 41-10 game. Mm-hmm. Because, like, if I would have told you it was 41-10 and Jalen Daniels completed 50% of his passes, you'd go like, huh? What? But the problem was 1 of every 4 that he completed was a touchdown.
He made plays. He made plays.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Brad and I were texting. He was off in the first half, missing guys. but he made plays with his feet and with his arm later when he had to, and there's a difference. Made plays.
Yeah, 5 carries, 69 yards, long run of 28. He controlled the game. He controlled the game. So that's just one of a bunch of those. You know, West Virginia ran for 182. West Virginia's average per rush was 4.4. I know that fourth quarter was a little bit deceiving. That's kind of with it.
Not a little bit.
A lot
not
of
a
it.
little bit.
A lot of
deceiving.
it. A lot of it. It was a lot of it deceiving. So that's kind of a fake stat.
Yes, I'll get into
there.
that.
Here's another super weird stat, and then I'll leave it to you. Kansas had 8 receivers catch passes, 8 different receivers. Only 1 caught more than 1. Emmanuel Henderson caught 6. 7 other dudes caught 1.
Yeah, Henderson was a dude.
Yeah, he was 5-star coming out of high school. So it was a 5-star running back coming out of high school, went to Alabama. And these guys made some big pickups. You know what these guys have done pickup-wise on the portal?
What?
They got players from other Power 4 schools.
Mm.
And I'm calling guys out like their tight end, Iowa State. The guy that the safety, Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
Running back, Iowa.
Running back, Iowa. Henderson, Alabama. Like they went and got Power 4 portal guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I think obviously it's 5 years in for Lance Leipold. His 5th year in this program. He's built the thing up, and that's what he's getting some fruit right now of the build that they're doing.
He's a good coach, and that's a good staff.
Superb.
They were ready to play.
Yeah, superb.
They're adding to that. They're expanding that stadium. You talked about that. I mean, how much more they're doing that stadium. So they're on. Their arc is going in the right direction.
That's what this league is, though, guys. That's what makes it so tough. There's good coaches up and down this league, and we said many times there just aren't any games where you walk in and go, okay, automatic win here. Right. There's not a ton, just all things being equal, that you go automatic loss either. It's part of why this conference gets criticized nationally, but is really fun to watch for those of us that do it on a day-to-day basis, because it is all packed in there for the most part. Mm-hmm. There isn't the national top-level team, and that's why the national guys get on it. I am interested to see what Texas Tech can do in that regard.
As far as making a run.
They were good, guys. That's a different Texas Tech team. That was a team that defensively yesterday, I know we're not here to do a Texas Tech podcast, but West Virginia's going to face them later. That defense was really good. They got after it. You talk about changing the face and the identity of what that program has been for 25 years. That defense is really good. Their starting quarterback got hurt. They brought in a young dude behind him that might have been better than Baron Morton. Their quarterback made some plays yesterday. You know what they do that West Virginia's struggling with right now? They can beat you multiple different ways. You want to have a slugfest defensively? Fine, we'll play like that. You want us to throw the ball deep on you? Okay, we can do that. You want us to throw underneath and nickel and dime you? Fine, we can do that. Do our receivers need to make great catches? Fine, we'll just throw it up and let them go make plays. That was a one-game sample yesterday. It's the most I've watched them. They were really impressive.
Yeah, they got dudes. 3 guys before the game coming up. We've got Spreads on Stats. 3 guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They are here to help you. If you need help in the legal world, specifically, let's talk about veterans benefits and Social Security claims. If you or someone is involved or needs help when it comes to filing a Social Security claim or a veterans benefits claim, that's what they do. Give them a call. It doesn't cost you a single penny to inquire. If eventually they get a settlement for you, then there is dollars exchanged, but they're there and it doesn't cost you a single penny. So let them know what you need. Veterans benefits, Social Security claims, based in Parkersburg, here in West Virginia, but does business in all 50 of our states. So if you need help, go to Jan Dills. They won't take no for an answer. And 3 guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the Hoppy way with a Tudor's biscuit. Those new sauces, why, they're absolutely idyllic right now. Honey Sriracha, Carolina Gold, and Sweet Teriyaki. You know, Sweet Teriyaki doesn't get the claim and the respect that it probably deserves. So if you're a Tudor's person or not, go in there, check it out. Tudor's Biscuit. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit.
Where'd they have you? I know you were. It took you a moment to identify when Kansas switched quarterbacks. Where was your booth? In downtown Manhattan?
Don't.
Is that where you were?
Don't start. It was horrific.
weren't you? Were you in the stadium?
Did you listen to the game?
Listen to the whole game.
Could you tell it was a bad place?
No.
Okay, good. So
Not until then. Not until then, and you bit your tongue to talk about where you were.
They build this new side of this press box, right? And they put the radio in the corner in the end zone. Not good. Can't not see from the 50-yard line on the right side of your screen. You can't see from the 50 over as far as depth perception what the yardage is.
Yeah.
You know, Brad, that's okay. I mean, okay, that's what you got to do because I'm sure you have suites. I'm sure you have suites all along that same space.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't have suites there. You know what they got there? I looked at some of those doors in there. Got the DJ for the stadium. he got a booth. Stadium DJ got a booth better. Game operations. Lord knows you couldn't do game operations from the end zone. Nah.
Oh, man.
Kidding me? So I figured it out. I just put my binoculars on the big, huge scoreboard. That's
really?
Called it off the scoreboard.
Wow.
And sometimes people, like, would you think?
Where was
you think the
home radio?
Home radio, worse.
What?
To the left of us.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, that's
no.
not
You could
right.
no. Listen. You could not tell until you were until later in the game when I think you had a level of frustration anyway, and then.
Well, I'll say this: there was a lot more. There was the cheat code on. You know what the cheat code on that is?
What?
Inside the 20. Then you wait till they put it up there. It's inside the 20, over the 15. That's what you kind of do.
Well, you were fine. You did well.
Yeah, they need to move the people. You can move the people. You know, teams can get better. You can move the booths and let the radio people, you know, they kiss TV's ass all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They put TV's got 9 monitors. They can see everything that they need to see. Radio, I mean, they give you a dog and say, here, go try to find your way out there. Are you kidding me? See, you got me all riled up and started. I'm pissed off about these stadiums putting announcers in the end zone. Like, you guys don't need to see, do you? No, put the DJ in the corner.
I love it. Love it. You needed that.
They come in there like,
Good
hey, what do you
steam
think?
release.
Hey, what do you
Give me a steam release.
You know, they come in there, hey, what do you think of our new stadium? You want to know what I think of your stadium?
At least parking wasn't a problem.
No, not at all. Sweet mercy.
You got him all fired up before Textual Healing. You should have just waited.
Yeah, I
That's
should
the whole
have.
point of that segment.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
3 guys before the game. It's time for spreads on stats. You did that. You probably did that on purpose.
I did.
You're a jack. Spreads on Stats is brought to us by Conley CPA Group. They provide value beyond numbers, complete service, public accounting, and consultation firm. Serves clients throughout the state of West Virginia and beyond. Celebrating 40 years. And they are more than happy to outsource your accounting for you in your business. They'll just take everything for you and do it so you can do your business. You know, plus you baited me because you know I haven't slept. So
I
you know
know.
my that's bad on your part. That's something I would do to you.
I was just going to say, like, just took the words out of my mouth.
I mean, I'm sitting there with three hours of sleep, and you're just kind of like that old cartoon where the Foghorn Leghorn used to get that dog and know exactly how much leash was there so he could paddle it and then run behind the line. That's what you did.
Yeah, I probably did. My apologies. I want to hear what Spreads has because
Well,
I wanna hear it.
listen,
I wanna hear it.
don't get your expectations too high here. This is one of those that we unfortunately talk about occasionally where, I'm going to give you some numbers. You don't need these numbers to tell you what you just saw.
Right,
So
right.
we'll go through it here. But
and some of those are deceptive, right?
There's no magic in these that you go, oh, aha. So it was a rough night, and the numbers will reflect that. Let's start where we always start. Let's do a review of what we talked about Thursday, see which of those things happened, which didn't, which mattered, which didn't. And we started with where you guys did with that situational spot. And I said to you guys on Thursday, there's a reason why a bunch of those guys that do that for a living were going to come out and say this is their best bet of the weekend. There were that. Multiple people put this game on there. The Kansas minus 12, minus 12.5, minus 11.5, minus 13.5, whatever number you had, they felt was the best bet of the weekend. You saw why, so no need to dwell on that anymore. It was just a hard spot. You were going to have that was a hard spot if you went in with a veteran team that was really, really good. And you didn't. You went in with an inexperienced team that obviously then struggled once it got there. So good situational spot comes to fruition. We talked about West Virginia's defense needed to be good against Kansas's running game. Up to that game, West Virginia was 12th nationally in opponent yards per carry at 2.36 yards. Unfortunately, Kansas ran it at will, 5 yards per carry for that group. We also mentioned on Thursday, Kansas had just not had many explosive run plays. So not only were they not running it well, they hadn't ripped off many big plays, only had 4 of 20 yards or more. West Virginia had a bunch more than that coming into this game. However, Kansas had half as many 20-yard runs in that game as they'd had all season with the 28-yarder and that big 62-yarder, their longest of the season. So once you couldn't handle the running game, then that made everything difficult beyond that. You couldn't make them one-dimensional. Rolls into our second key from Thursday. You had to handle Jalen Daniels. We thought he was going to be the best quarterback you faced all season. And you guys are right. While he didn't have a Heisman-worthy game, he also didn't turn it over. So we said going in, that was either going to be if he plays well, they probably win. If he struggles, you've got a shot. 3 touchdown passes, no turnovers, no interceptions, right? So that was a win for Jalen Daniels in that particular game. We talked about his running ability. You guys said it already, took off, had 69 yards rushing, 14 yards per carry when he took off and scrambled. So you weren't able to contain him when he did that. We talked about West Virginia's run game had to be successful. Tony, you said it, the Ty Edwards not being there was a major factor. And the raw numbers there that you quoted turned out to be decent. And I'll get to that in just a minute with Jalen Henderson. That was why late in that game when it was already decided. But when the game mattered, West Virginia just couldn't do anything. 1.8 yards per carry in the first half. Right? So just full stop right there. If this offense can't run it for more than 2 yards per carry, it is really going to bog down. That led to no space to operate. And that's really what jumped to me. If you take numbers out of it and just watch that, there just wasn't anywhere to go. It felt like a defense in basketball that either, like the old press Virginias where you just felt like, where the hell do I pass the ball here? There's nobody open. Or a team that can't make outside shots and you clog the lane. That's what that defense felt like against West Virginia. You couldn't run it inside on them. You couldn't get outside on them. You couldn't throw it on them because their defensive backs weren't worried about your ability to beat them over the top because you weren't getting protection long enough to do that. So everybody was just jammed in there and there was nowhere to go with the ball. Just didn't feel like you had any space.
I just did a little simple math here. So West Virginia had 182 yards rushing. 67 of those came from Henderson and Wilkins in those final drive. Or I should say, all they had were 67 if you take away Henderson and Wilkins' yards, just 67 without those 2 late quarterback drives.
That's why that was deceiving there when you gave the raw numbers. Okay, then let's go to some other just numbers in this, and you hear me use this a lot, the field position battle. If you can be plus 10 yards of field position, you win 90+% of the time. Kansas was plus 14 yards in field position. West Virginia against Pitt last week was the aberration in that. Here's some concerning things, guys, that worry you that they weren't one off. And I don't know what the fix is. I'm not sure Rich knows what the fix is. If there was an easy fix, it would have already been tried. But you registered a 38 pass blocking grade in that game on a scale of 0 to 100.
Wow.
That's the worst since you put up a 25.5 grade in 2020 versus Oklahoma State. It's the second worst pass blocking grade since Pro Football Focus started keeping the stat, which goes back to parts of the 2012 season. So, again, you didn't need me to tell you that number to know that the pass blocking just really struggled, but it really struggled, just was not good and continues to be an issue for this team. If it can't run it and now can't throw it, it gets tough.
And Brad, so Nico didn't have time, and they were trying to do short passes to deal with that. But also later, when it was evident they couldn't block for him in a passing situation, they were flushing him out. But when you flush a guy out left or right, of course he's left-handed, then the field becomes smaller. The opportunities to throw the ball become smaller, and you got to throw on the run, and he was not effective doing that.
Yeah, and there was no space for him to take off and was getting tracked down when he would take off, so just didn't work. But that pass blocking grade is something we're going to refer back to all season. Line still struggling to find its way and help protect. Go to Jalen Henderson, because if there was a bright spot in the game, it was his performance. Now you ask the same questions as you normally do, the ability to repeat that performance. when he got in, and again, guys, it's a totally different situation defensively when Henderson came in versus what you were dealing with earlier. There was more space to operate, and some of that was defensive scheme. Some of that was Henderson's speed and ability. You saw why Rich has talked all offseason about wanting to get him some reps at the quarterback position when you need to run it out of that spot. 7 carries, 79 yards. Henderson is now your third leading rusher on the season, guys, and this speaks to just how much trouble you've had here and with the injuries to White and Ty Edwards. Henderson's now your third leading rusher on the season. He's only carried the ball 14 times. So Edwards is right up there based off one game. Now Henderson right up there based off one game. Just shows how difficult it's been to get that going due to these injuries.
Well, when you look back, what was the biggest situation challenge for Neil Brown when he first got here? What did they say?
It was the offensive line.
First thing we're going to build. The first thing we're going to build is we're going to build the offensive line, and that is exactly where you're going to start at here. Here's what's scary. Just jumping ahead, watching the Utah game yesterday, they repeatedly said that Kyle Whittingham, the coach of Utah, thinks this is his best offensive line that he's ever had. And he has had some absolute bulldozers. And so it goes back to this offensive line. That's where you're going to start. You're going to have to start on this offensive line, and you just have to build it in order to do anything. That's the game of football.
We'll spend plenty of time on that Utah offensive line coming up, although they got dominated yesterday by Texas Tech up front. That's what I mean when I say Texas Tech's defense so good. They took a couple of pros on that line and just said, oh, is that right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to handle you. But that line is supposed to be very good. Yes, we'll get into that. Continuing on, Henderson now leads the team with 5 carries of more than 10 yards, 5 rushes of more than 10 yards. Here's an interesting stat. Only 22% of Henderson's yards have come after contact. And again, if you watch, you can see that. Some of that's situational last night. Again, they're backed off a little bit, but he's getting yards before he's hit. He's finding creases and running through here. And here's the one that really jumped to me about Henderson's performance. Again, a one-game sample. But he averaged 13 yards per carry last night in the right A-gap, so just to the right of the center. West Virginia as a team averages just 4.4 yards per carry on the season in that gap. And if you take Henderson's yards out, because that 4.4 includes Henderson last night, if you take his yards away from that, West Virginia averaging just 3 yards per carry in that right A-gap. We know how important the inside run is to Rich's offense. That's one area where they're really struggling outside of his success. Henderson has 53% of the total rushing yards in that particular gap, which is pretty wild. So that again, speaks to what you've already seen, guys. You're having trouble getting a push up front, especially on that right side in that hole, and it's leading to part of your issues backing up from there. One last thing on the offense, this is not going to make you feel any better, but coming into this year, West Virginia had scored more than 10 points in every regular season game since going back to 2021 versus Oklahoma State, November 6th. They'd been held to 10 or less points just six times in the previous 11 seasons. Now it's happened twice in 4 games. So, again, you don't need me to tell you that. You know the offense has struggled in 2 of these 4 games, but that was surprising to me that it's been at that level.
Not what you would think of. Yep.
Nope. So that's basically the gist of it. We could keep going, but there's no sense in that.
Did you guys get a sense that when Wilkins came in that Rich is thinking about the out years? That he's thinking, he's played Fox, he's played Wilkins, and whoever had above 3.5 on quarterback plays, you just
took care of that.
Hit.
Thank you.
But you think he's thinking like next year in 2 years?
No.
I think he's trying to find something that can work right now. Like, what can you do to run the ball
right now?
Right, his offense has to be able to run to have any chance, and you're just looking absent of those running backs. Your running back's just so dinged. You're trying to find somebody that can make plays for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think right now, Hoppy, he's just putting those guys out there saying, like, please show me that I can give you the keys here and you can run this thing. That's what I want to see. But, Wilkins didn't even attempt to pass.
Right. And
Henderson just put 4 up, and he was 2 out of 4 for 16 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. I mean, it's not real difficult to figure it out, right? Nico's strength is throwing it. His strength is not running it. Henderson and Wilkins' strengths are running it, and at this point, not throwing it. Scotty Fox, probably the guy that could do both of those for you, but obviously he went through a painful learning process in the Pitt game. And he was going to have to wait now to get his opportunity back. But he, on paper and what he can do, his skill set, he could do both of those. But right now, obviously, not ready to do them.
There were a lot of other guys in there offensively as Rich was looking for that spark.
Sure.
Yeah, and you just, again, if you can't move the ball up front and run it, it hinders everything else. One last number. Nico's yards per attempt, guys, were 4.7. It's under 5. That's just, there's no, again, to talk about this offense, it's just clogged. The defense is just pressing up on you and condensing that field. There's just nowhere to go here.
Which, to that point, leads you to Cam Vaughn and him not getting opportunities, right? We have not seen him, in a perfect world right now, he is the go-to receiver with his skill set, and they just simply cannot get the ball to him. So he's been neutered.
Yeah, because defenses know that.
You know who else knows that he's the go-to guy?
Sure.
Yeah,
that's why he's not getting opportunities, because they're covering him, right? They're putting safeties over the top. They're bracketing him. They're just doing everything they need to do to make sure that he doesn't become a weapon.
He led you in targets yesterday. I mean, they tried to force feed it in there, just only end up with 2 catches for 11 yards, but had a team high 5 targets. So they tried to force even when it just wasn't there, which you've got to do with a player of his caliber. But it's just there's just no space to operate for him.
Yeah. So this is a hard one. This is a hard one because there is no temple remaining on your schedule. You got to turn it around quick. They got to flush it today, take tomorrow off, start on the field Tuesday, and it's going to get big.
And for Mountaineer fans, you're just going to have some patience. I mean, 80 new players, the deficiencies on this team, particularly offensively, are, Brad, as you said, they are obvious. So if you're all in as a fan, if you believe that Rich was the right hire, you're just going to have to be patient. You're going to have to just suck it up for a while.
We'll talk about that on Textual Healing, because I think based on the Textual Healing inquiries today were extremely unexpected.
How do you mean? I guess we'll find out. But
one, there weren't a lot. Like I fired that thing up this morning when I got home, and I went like, okay, here comes hundreds. And I think a lot of people have taken what you just said. They went like, okay, I've seen a month's worth of it now, and I know what it is, and I think they're going to, okay, now we're in this build mode, and you just try to get better and better and better, and then that's what this is, and then you just go reload and do it again and do it again. That's where I think people are kind of setting themselves up for here.
And again, this isn't too far off from Rich's first tenure. When the first year, it just didn't look offensively like he wanted it to look, or frankly, what it would then become as you started to get more understanding of the offense in there. And so I think you're right, Hop. I think that's just what it is now from a fan perspective. I mean, you can scream and holler and yell, but it is what it is. Yeah. And you're just going to have to try and watch these and find some moments that you can take and move forward into future years, and then you're going to have to go to work in the offseason.
And Tony, with those texts, as I said, it was hard to stay with that game last night.
Oh, I'm aware.
Now, you also wonder too, like if you want to try and have a little bit of bright spot moving forward. This team's shown it's been better at home, right? So now you're going to have to look at a Utah team coming in. What do they have mindset wise? Can you get back on track here at home and give them a game? That's what you're looking for.
3 guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems. They have everything when it comes to business equipment, including sleekly designed water machines. Put away those big plastic bottles that you drag into your break room or where your guys and girls get their hydration during the workday. Check it out, their new I-12 water cooler. Sleek design meets cutting-edge technology. Kind of sounds like Hoppy's body build. Sleek design meets cutting-edge technology. Forget about the plastic water jugs and the bottles. Contact Comax and learn about their water system opportunities for you. Visit ComaxWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com. 3 guys also brought to us by Gomart. Internationally known Gomart. I said internationally known.
I heard
Gomart.
You say that.
I'll tell you why here in a second. 3 guys, reminder to you, every weekend now going on, every Saturday, triple rewards points at Gomart. So snacks, drinks, gas, you name it, more points, more savings, more opportunities to snack. visit the GoMart app or gomart.com, and you can learn more and take advantage of all those specials. Those guys all doing all right at the Postal GoMart?
Doing great. Was just there on Thursday. I've got my gas off though. I need to get it, so I'm on a Saturday refill. I'm not. I'm on a Thursday refill right now.
So you're fouled up.
Well, I just would like it Saturday to get those triple points.
Yeah. Well,
I'll work on that. Efforting.
So don't drive. I guess pace your driving.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? Got places to be.
We got a big week coming up, boys.
Yep.
We got a live show week.
Excuse me.
We have a live show week.
Oh,
Thursday night. Did you not have that on your dossier, Junior?
I got to start working on trivia.
It's okay. We'll take care of it. we'll take
Will you approve my trivia question?
Listen, I know you've been busy. We'll take that off your plate. If you are coming in for the Utah game and you'd like to start your fun for the weekend on Thursday, we will be once again in action at Buffalo Wild Wings at the Suncrest Town Center. It's presented by Clear Mountain Bank. We're going to be with you from 6 until 8 o'clock. Get there early. Always a surprise or two. Music, trivia, and allegedly special guests. Jen Greeny, head coach of the undefeated Mountaineer volleyball team.
Great start for them.
Might have one or two of her student athletes with us.
We're doing like we did last time. We did a shooting contest with Honor Huff. We doing like a serving contest.
Should do that. Spiking
Would be awesome. Like that would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Like we do fakes, like toss it up and let them spike it. Like who can catch one of their spikes or something?
I don't think you want.
So you knock over like a soft drink into your French fries.
Yeah, exactly like that. So anyway, we're doing that
Thursday 6 to 8.
Thursday 6 to 8. This is our third one that we've done there. It's a lot of fun. We invite you to come out. We're just going to have a big time. Who knows? We'll figure something else. And then the food court's open Friday, Saturday. This is Hall of Fame weekend, by the by.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, induction.
Oh.
This weekend. Induction will be Bill Kurlavich among the inductees. Bill
Oh,
Stewart
boy.
Coach Stu.
among the inductees. Got a
Pat
great
McAfee
class.
going in.
Pat is going in. Obviously, he won't be here. He'll be doing the game day thing, but sure he'll send a memorable video in. By the way, did you see him dive in?
I did.
He's unbelievable. He's absolutely unbelievable. So that's Thursday, 6 until 8, presented by Clear Mountain Bank at Buffalo Wild Wings. And then food court Friday, Saturday, right next to Daniels there on University Avenue. We're on 3 to 9 on Friday, 9:30 to 2 on Saturday. Our vendors are back. Grateful Bread. Unbelievable. I'm getting me some of that sourdough. Lemonade.
Well, you better get a pepperoni roll early. She sold out last time.
Lemonade from that big, huge lemon. Duca from the wine bar. Rev Kev Barbecue. Connection 304 draft. 6 packs to go. And music all weekend, courtesy of Rocky and the folks at Vision Homes.
Thank you,
Live
Rocky.
music and the talent from WVU's Mon Hills Records, WVU's Creative Arts college record label.
That music's been a nice addition.
Very
Both
addition.
at Buffalo Wild Wings and at the food court.
Yeah.
So thank you, Rocky.
You know, speaking of Clear Mountain Bank, obviously they got into us because this is kind of a community thing that we do. We bring all these people together, whether it's food, whether it's the music. I want to bang this out there, and these guys often attack me. They attack me for over-promising early,
Yes.
and then I always deliver. But anyway,
Excuse me.
put this date on your calendar: 7 October. 7 October.
Let me note that.
We're doing an event at the United Way at Touchdown Terrace at the stadium. It goes starts at 5:30. The doors open at 5:30. Event goes from 6 until 8, and we're partnering with Clear Mountain Bank and Golden Blue Enterprises. And there will be coaches and players attending this event. Mark Kellogg, Mountaineer women's coach. Mountaineer men's basketball coach Ross Hodge, who happens to be a Rev Kev fan. Steve Sabins, Mountaineer baseball coach. Jen Greeny and the players. Great food, great time, great cause. Less than 35 of these tickets remain. Less than 35 tickets remain. They're $75. All the money goes to the United Way of Mount and Preston County. And they also do have 3 corporate tables left. $1,500 for 8 people, perfect for your company to make a donation to the United Way. For those interested, you can email info@episode800.com.
I got to do that.
And all that money that goes into the United Way for this event stays here in these communities, Mount and Preston County.
What's the email?
info@episode800.com. info@episode800.com for the tables. Individual tickets. Individual can be bought. Just go to the United Way's social media pages.
I got to do something.
You're going to do something? You going to buy a corporate table?
No, I have a couple friends coming in,
Okay, good.
so I'm going to invite them to go.
Why don't you open your wallet and let those moths fly out of there and take out a few dollars?
Well, maybe I will.
Did I play Textual Healing already?
Yes.
Okay. First up, hey, three guys. Whether you're in Flatwoods, Morgantown, or Cancun, there's a Go-Mart around the corner. Just take a look at that picture. Got a picture there of a Go-Mart store in Cancun.
What?
Yeah, there's a Go-Mart store in Cancun, and it just says
Is that right?
Go-Mart. And I've seen this picture before. Actually, someone has sent it to us before.
But it's not Go-Mart, is
It's
it?
not our Go-Mart, but the Cancunians, the Cancunians thought they could go with a Go-Mart. Don't see that picture there. But anyway, take my word for it.
There's a Go-Mart in Cancun.
That's from our guy Frank. Sent that, Frank
Yeah,
Moore.
Frank's busy. He's all over the place.
All over the
He's
world.
on University Avenue, then he's in Cancun. Hey, three guys, I was recently in Greece for a work trip. Why weren't you? My last night in their country, the night before the backyard brawl, I did what any mountaineer faithful would do. I put on my West Virginia shirt, hit the streets to find a mom-and-pop food spot for dinner. I stumbled upon a small little spot off the beaten path in Athens. It was the kind of a spot where 3 generations were working the tables. I love those places. When you see the grandfather, the father, and then the kid working it. As I topped off the great dinner with a coffee and baklava, the elderly gentleman next to me started to get up to leave. As he left, he turned to me, and with his seasoned, thick Greek accent, he said, "Mr. West of Virginia, how you doing tonight?" That's my Athens accent.
Let's work on that. But
Naturally, while eating my baklava, I replied, "Great, how about you?" Just nodded with a smile. As he walked away, he said, "I hope the Greeks are treating you well." To be clear, the only thing on my polo shirt was the flying WV. That's all it was on there. There's no doubt that the West Virginia brand is known worldwide. Great show. Thanks for all you do. P.S. I also found the Dubai chocolate ice cream while in Greece. Be warned, it's dangerously good.
Tell you what, Dubai chocolate and baklava having a moment.
yes, they are.
This person sent a very short text, but this is what it said in all capital letters. No offense, but it's going to be a long season. See a double play on
No
words there.
offense or no offense?
Yeah, that's what he was
That's-
going
yeah.
with. It's very cute. Very well done. Texter, transfer portal continues to be unkind to West Virginia. The O-line, wide receiver, linebacker units all less talented than a year ago, and they wouldn't be if the players hadn't left through the portal. It's a continuation of what I've maintained was the biggest obstacle Neil Brown faced. Simply retain the talent you already have. Love the show, JD, Southern Coalfields. P.S. Tony, I heard during your broadcast you mentioned that the location wasn't the best. Can we get an explanation Sunday? I think it's already been done, JD. Texter, hello, three guys. Paul in Tampa, in-game text. Got a lot of these in-game texts where people just do, it's kind of comical. There's people that just send stream of consciousness text, and they just keep hitting it. Like things that, yeah, I kind of understand. Fumble hurt. Bad interception. Can't let a kickoff return go. Yeah, I got it. Understood.
Well, this is the textual healing line. So.
Yeah.
Paul in Tampa, in-game, as difficult as it is to watch the game to the end, I was inspired by Reed Carrico. Long TD run in the fourth quarter. Dove for the tackle at the start of it, then got up immediately, chased the runner down, dove at him again at the 5, barely missed the Jayhawk, blocked him as he dove. Firstly, Reed has some wheels. Secondly, he never gives up, reminded me of the Terminator. After getting hit by a 12 gauge, and then you get right up and you head back for more. Has a nickname been born? Reed Terminator Carrico? No, I don't think it has.
Brad, were there, and Reed Carrico is a dude, were there missed tackle stats?
Yes.
Did you have that? Do you have access to that?
I do. I will. There were a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah. West Virginia's lowest tackling grade of the season.
Yeah. Texter, beating Pitt made my year. But in all honesty, how many years until we could be a real contender in the Big 12? Jake from Wirt. All right, that's a good question. How many years before West Virginia can be a real contender in the Big 12?
You want us to answer?
Yeah.
3.
I don't know.
What's that mean?
Well, it's just that's just so hard to answer now. Get back to us when we see what you do in the portal next year. How many guys you retain? What does the portal look like? What do other teams do? What's the spending look like? Texas Tech going to spend $40 million again? They find a way around the $20 million salary cap for this next year?
How'd they get around that?
Well,
NIL.
they got in before the rev share started. A lot of those contracts are front loaded. A lot of schools, it wasn't just Texas Tech. A lot of schools were front loading their contracts before the cap came in and getting people on board early and then settling into the cap.
Front loaded. Like, it was Wild West until July 1. You could do whatever you wanted because it wasn't going to count against the cap. Yeah. Tell you what, if Texas Tech has the season that they're lining up to have, they'll replenish it again. Because once you taste the nectar of that, you're going to keep going back.
15 missed tackles charted. Again, this will change because we're off early on this, but some of this will change, but at least 15 on this particular PFF source.
Texter, 2 questions. Do we know how the quarterback reps are split among the 5 quarterbacks? Seems like in the past, it's past time to narrow the field and pick a fast horse. Second, do the analytics back up what my eyes are seeing at how bad the right side of the line is? The whole line is looking bad, but the major blowups seem to be coming from the gap. You already mentioned the A
I
gap.
didn't know that question was in there, but we talked about that.
Texter, my wife and I just got back from the Charles Wesley Godwin concert in Fort Worth. I met a few Mountaineer fans and talked about the Kansas game. Charles put on an amazing show as always, repping the old gold and blue on his shirt. He mentioned to the crowd how their Horned Frogs did well today and how, unfortunately, our Mountaineers did not do so hot. He ended it with, "It's okay, though. We beat Pitt last weekend." I followed that up with a very loud, "Eat you-know-what, Pitt." A few heads turned. Charles looked at me and gave a, "Let's go." So, Russell in Wichita Falls, Texas. There he is.
There we go.
There's our guy. Charles got his Mountaineer shirt on, performing.
It was a nice win by TCU.
Yeah, they wanted that one.
Yeah.
They don't like SMU.
No.
They do not like SMU.
They got a chance. They might have a favorable schedule moving forward, too. They don't play Texas Tech. Don't think they play Utah.
Yeah. They get that skillet. They brought that skillet back there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
They play for the skillet. It's kind of weird.
Did you see no, you couldn't. You were, I don't know where you were at the time. But Baylor, Arizona State had a great finish.
We were watching it at the end.
Yeah,
we were watching it at the end.
TCU has at Arizona State, Colorado, at Kansas State, Baylor, at West Virginia, Iowa State, at BYU, at Houston, Cincinnati. FYI.
Last one. After a game like that, there's only one question worth asking. Which is better? Halloween pumpkin Reese's or Christmas tree Reese's? In all seriousness, people need to be patient. We gave Neil time. We can afford to give Rich time. That was ugly. Rich may have 5 quarterbacks he thinks he can win with, but he doesn't have 5 offensive linemen that he can, Jeff and Scott Depot. A lot of work to be done. Hey, don't leave now. Why?
Why?
It's a big week.
Bounce back week.
What? What's wrong? What?
Big week. Down on you for not bringing this up. What's this week?
I don't know.
Hoopsters.
Oh, yeah. 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 Hoops officially started. It's been going since
Have you moved on to basketball?
I was caught off by the question. Been to 100 practices so far. Yes.
Well, no,
basketball season
it's
officially
significant
underway.
because the rules now allow them to have the full time to practice.
What
no,
rules?
Yeah, they have a rule or two. They have a rule or two.
So what does that mean?
Well,
you get longer per day to work with them. That's what
you
it
can
means.
have your real practices. So back in the day, October 15th was the day that college basketball practices started. Now, you, as Brad said, you're always practicing at some capacity, but a limited window of time.
Okay.
Now, starting this week, you go into your season mode, and you'll count your practices toward the start of your first exhibition and the whole
Which
thing.
is just a little over a month away.
Yeah,
First exhibition game.
They've got that secret exhibition game.
Well, but then you got the real exhibition coming against Wheeling. Playing Wheeling this year, Hop.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys get me into a practice?
No. 3 guys brought to us by Lou Wendell. If you or someone you know is into the world of boating, then by all means, go to the award-winning folks at Lou Wendell Marine Sales and Services. You know, they do more than just sell those things. You need to service, and you take your boat out right now this time of year and it needs work to be done. contact the folks at Lou Wendell Marine Sales, the #1 pontoon boat dealer in our state. Sell the Avalon boats that are manufactured 100% in the United States, and those G3 John boats as well. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Want to make a physical visit? Do that in St. Albans, or you can visit them online at LouWendellMarineSales.com. They're 40-plus years, and that is the absolute moniker of success.
I was out on the Mon River Trail yesterday. I think I saw a couple.
Pontoons? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Going through the Opakiska Lock and Dam, I think.
Ah, very nice. Very nice. So as far as basketball practice goes.
No, I think I've already been shot down on that.
We could probably get him in. Brad, you think?
I don't know about that.
Huh?
I don't know.
Would you go? How would you be if? Because I've never had any involvement with you. I've been to football practices with you.
Yeah.
Like, how would you behave at a basketball practice? Are you going to ask? Are you going to ask a bunch of questions to people? Are you going to go up there and like, hey, why are you doing this? Like, are you going to be okay? Will you just sit and watch, or are we going to have to?
What I would do, assuming I sat with you all, is I would be listening. I would be watching intently and listening for insights from you all. And Brad, would you point things out, or Tony would point things out, and I would try to absorb the information is what I would do. And sit there otherwise quietly and listen when you all made points.
Okay. Well, I mean, you might be working your way into a trip because once you go down a rabbit hole, like this officiating thing last week, I mean, that became a week's worth of work for you.
It was.
You were.
Well, we didn't. That was. Can I say something about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure.
That was legitimate. That was a legitimate pursuit of information that was changing and hard to come by, Brad, and relevant. And we didn't get, and not until the end of the week, and there still hasn't been a complete resolution of that, where, Tony, you told me, I mean, Ren Baker issued a statement about what happened in that game. So to me, as a news guy, that was a legitimate pursuit of a story that still is not completely resolved.
What do you mean it's not resolved?
Well, I think he's right. He's right. I don't think he's right. He's right in that I'm surprised these leagues, like I get it. It's a slippery slope here of when do you comment and when do you not. But I just think they would be served well to have some explanations out there. If you miss it, you miss it. I think people can live with that, right?
SEC does. I mean, SEC, they have.
Here's what's interesting, though. The Big 12 has announced they're about to open up video in the replay booth.
Oh, that's great.
To watch, and then audio will follow here soon. So that'll start to be that's a step forward here to be able to see inside the replay and hear the discussions about what's going on. But I just think they'd be served to when there's especially not when there's a pass interference call
not
that
a
you're complaining about or a missile, but on procedural stuff like happened
and rules.
I just think they'd be better served, to come in and say, here's what should have taken place there. It's been discussed, and we'll move forward.
Yeah, I mean, here's exactly. Just explain instead of like circling the wagons. And just say, here's what the rules are, and here's why the rule is this, and not a judgment call, and then issue a statement as to exactly why the ruling was or was not right, and then move on. I mean, as it is, here it is. A week later, we're still going, well, wait a minute, what was exactly, and why did they miss it? And they haven't said anything.
Yeah, and some people are still saying, well, the half can end on a penalty. I knew it, but that wasn't what was applied. It wasn't that. So
totally agree.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
totally.
So
agree.
It's not about bashing the officials. It's about clarity.
Yes.
Clarity. That's all you're looking for.
And we need it more than ever before because of the stakes that are involved in these games at a level never seen before, right? The gambling is at an all-time high, and a lot of these things are being done because of that. Why do we have injury reports that are coming out now in the Big 12? Why do you think? It's exactly for that and no other reason.
And the ACC still has not, unless I'm wrong, because ACC still has not issued a statement.
Nor will they.
And Ren,
they won't. That's my point. They won't. They'll say we don't comment on officiating.
And Ren's statement and Ren does not do that, right?
Correct.
Ren, I talked to him. You talked to him. Ren doesn't do that, but he felt compelled to do it in this instance. And even that statement was fairly generic. It didn't get into the specificity of what it was. So you end up still sitting here going, what was the rule? And was there a second left, or was it 3 seconds, or what? So that to me is what's untenable about it. Not like, oh, West Virginia got screwed, whatever. But the fact that it's all amorphous a week later is untenable when the stakes are this high.
And what's interesting to me, and again, I would think if you're inside that office and you've made the comment, we're not going to comment on officiating, then that they're going to try and stick to that, and they won't comment on officiating on this and then not others. But I would think this would be one to comment on because it didn't affect the outcome of the game. This would seem to be an easy comment on the officiating because you can say it, and the fan base that was affected by it, it will lose their mind, will lose its mind, but it didn't affect the game. So you could comment fairly easily, I think.
Yeah. And it would be an opportunity to have people being more informed about what the rules are, because Tony, we don't know the nuance of all the rules. You're very familiar with the rules, but we don't know all the nuance.
No, I totally agree. It just adds to the legitimacy of the event.
Yes,
seriously.
Yes.
It gives it clarity, and it just says, hey, we understand. We're trying to do our very best. Everyone's going to make mistakes. We're trying to do our very best. You're right. Like SEC wasted no time yesterday and said, hey, Oklahoma, you can't hide a player. And that should have been an unsportsmanlike call, and that touchdown should not have counted. And they came right out and said it within hours of the game's completion. And the ACC went totally hibernation mode on this. They just say, hey, this is what it should have been. This is what it is. We got it. Our guys will fix it going forward. Done. How hard is that?
Yeah, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It didn't affect the game, so you could easily comment.
All right.
Whatever. We're done.
We got a big week. We got to get Hoppy into basketball practice. We've got our live show.
Excellent.
We invite you to do that. So that's
when's that United Way event? October 7?
October 7. Tickets, just go to United Way, Mon, Preston County. There's limited tickets, 35 tickets, $75. And presented by Clearmont Bank at Touchdown Terrace. Ross is there. Mark is there. Steve is there. Jen Greeny is there, among others. Student athletes. Oh, did I say that? Who are they scrimmaging in that secret scrimmage?
Secret probation, I don't know. Not allowed to say
You can't
it.
even say anymore?
Not allowed to say it until the national guys start tweeting box scores during it. Then you can say it.
All right. They're not scrimmaging in Maryland. Okay, thanks for being with us. 3 guys before the game. We'll return on Thursday. By then, a deep dive into the Utes. First time ever that they'll visit Morgantown. At least Mountaineer
What a
Field.
weird.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up yet. Like in 1919, if Utah took 3 horses and 5 boats to come play a game for no reason here.
Well, you get them at home. Good chance for West Virginia to jump out and lead the Pac-12 standings after the first game. You got 4 of them this year against the Pac-12. You'd like to get this first one.
Rich has played these guys. He's played Kyle Whittingham before.
Have a showdown with Oregon State later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're out. Thanks for being with us. Thanks to our producer, Braden. See you. Have a great week.